Welcome back, Kafka enthusiasts, to another exciting episode of Kafka Internal's Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of Kafka Connect. We're currently in Level 2, Jedi Knight, exploring the Kafka ecosystem chapter. Joining me as always is our Kafka expert, Victor. Are you ready to connect some knowledge, Victor?
Absolutely, Sheila. I'm excited to explore Kafka Connect with our listeners. It's a powerful tool that really expands Kafka's capabilities.
Before we dive in, let's start with a quick quiz for our listeners. Here's the question. In a large enterprise, how many different data sources and destinations do you think an average data integration project might involve? Think about it, and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the episode.
That's an intriguing question, Sheila. It really highlights the complexity of data integration in modern enterprises. I'm curious to see what our listeners will guess. Without giving away the answer, I can say that the number often surprises people and underscores why tools like Kafka Connect are so crucial.
Indeed, Victor. Now, let's start with the basics. Can you explain what Kafka Connect is and why it was created?
Certainly. Kafka Connect is a framework for connecting Kafka with external systems such as databases, key-value stores, search indexes, and file systems. It was created to simplify and standardize the process of getting data in and out of Kafka. Think of it as a universal translator for data. It speaks many languages and can seamlessly move data between different systems.
That's a great analogy, Victor. So, if I understand correctly, Kafka Connect acts as a bridge between Kafka and other data systems. But why do we need this bridge? Couldn't we just write custom code to move data in and out of Kafka?
You're right, Sheila. We could write custom code, but that approach has several drawbacks. First, it's time-consuming and error-prone. Second, you'd need to reinvent the wheel for common integration patterns. Kafka Connect provides a standardized way to build and manage connectors, which are ready-made components for data import or export. This standardization brings benefits like scalability, fault tolerance, and easy configuration.
I see. So it's about efficiency and reliability. Now, you mentioned connectors. Can you elaborate on what these are and how they work?
Of course. Connectors are the workhorses of Kafka Connect. They come in two flavors: source connectors and sink connectors. Source connectors import data from external systems into Kafka, while sink connectors export data from Kafka to external systems. For example, a MySQL source connector would read changes from a MySQL database and write them to Kafka topics, while a MongoDB sink connector would read from Kafka topics and write to a MongoDB database.
That makes sense. So if I wanted to stream data from a PostgreSQL database into Kafka and then into Elasticsearch, I would use a PostgreSQL source connector and an Elasticsearch sink connector.
Exactly. You've got it, Sheila. That's a common use case, and Kafka Connect makes it straightforward to set up such data pipelines.
Now, I've heard that Kafka Connect can run in different modes. Can you explain the difference between standalone and distributed modes?
Certainly. Kafka Connect can indeed run in two modes, standalone and distributed. Standalone mode is simpler and good for development or small-scale deployments. It runs all connectors and tasks in a single process. Distributed mode, on the other hand, is designed for production use. It allows you to scale connector work across multiple worker processes, providing better fault tolerance and scalability.
Interesting. So, in a large enterprise setting, distributed mode would be the way to go. Are there any challenges or common pitfalls when using Kafka Connect that our listeners should be aware of?
Great question, Sheila. One common challenge is managing connector configurations, especially in large deployments. It's crucial to version control your connector configs and have a proper change management process. Another pitfall is underestimating the resources needed for connectors. Some connectors can be quite resource-intensive, so it's important to monitor their performance and scale accordingly.
Those are valuable insights, Victor. How does Kafka Connect compare to other data integration tools out there?
Kafka Connect sits in an interesting space. It's more specialized than general-purpose ETL tools like Apache NiFi or Talend, focusing specifically on integrating systems with Kafka. Compared to custom-coded solutions, it offers better scalability and standardization. However, it may not be as flexible as a completely custom solution for very unique use cases. The strength of Kafka Connect lies in its tight integration with Kafka and its ecosystem.
That's a helpful comparison. Now let's talk about some real-world implementations. Can you share an example of how companies are using Kafka Connect in production?
Absolutely. One interesting case is how LinkedIn, which created Kafka, uses Kafka Connect. They use it to ingest data from various sources into their data lake. For instance, they use a custom Kafka Connect source to stream data from their Oracle databases into Kafka, and then use Kafka Connect syncs to write this data to HDFS. This setup allows them to handle massive amounts of data in real time, powering various analytics and machine learning applications.
That's fascinating, Victor. It really shows the power of Kafka Connect in handling large-scale data integration. Now, as we're nearing the end of our episode, let's reveal the answer to our quiz question. Victor, how many different data sources and destinations might an average data integration project involve in a large enterprise?
The answer might surprise our listeners, Sheila. In large enterprises, it's not uncommon for data integration projects to involve dozens or even hundreds of different data sources and destinations. According to a survey by Gartner, the average number is around 30 to 40 different systems. This high number underscores why tools like Kafka Connect, which can simplify and standardize these integrations, are so valuable.
Wow, that is indeed surprising. It really puts the complexity of data integration into perspective. To wrap up, let's summarize the key points we've covered about Kafka Connect. 1. Kafka Connect is a framework for connecting Kafka with external systems. 2. It uses connectors to streamline data import and export. 3. There are 2 types of connectors, source and sync. 4. It can run in standalone or distributed mode. 5. Kafka Connect offers better scalability and standardization compared to custom solutions. 6. It's widely used in production for large-scale data integration projects. In our next episode, we'll be exploring Kafka Streams, another powerful component of the Kafka ecosystem. Until then, keep connecting those data streams. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating if you're enjoying the series. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more Kafka enthusiasts. Thank you for listening.